studying a double degree of international relations and politics at the University of Wollongong. She learned that one must make the most of every opportunity. Living in a country, there weren't as many opportunities readily available compared to those in the city. So you made the most of the ones that came along, or sought them out for yourself. Australia. She's a model and an art studio owner. She was very curious when growing up from a young age. She likes to explore and learn new things. Growing up, she learned to be respectful and kind to everyone around her. Belarus. She is an ortho student who grew up in a very warm and loving home. Her family has always supported her, and they are extremely close and her biggest supporters. Belgium. She is a fifth-year law student. She had the blessing of being raised by her parents and grandparents. She grew up in a wonderful family surrounded by love, unity, and respect. She developed and learned love for God and for the people around her. Bolivia. She is a modern language student. She learned from a very young age that sharing what you know with others is one of the most beautiful ways to share love. That's why she's always wanted to be a teacher. Before, hard working and giving her best have always been in her life mottos. Brazil. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a managing partner of a GPS company. She and her family have always been very close, so they have shaped her into the woman she is today. They taught her the importance of finding joy in the smallest things and to always be grateful for life. Growing up in between cultures, every family event was always atypical in the best way possible. Canada. She is a medical student. Growing up, she was always surrounded by nature and animals. She was raised in the countryside and learned to respect every form of life. Her parents taught her to become an independent and strong woman since she was little. She loved learning new things, and she was a phenomenal student. Chile. She is a professional model and TV host. During her childhood and growing up years, she was able to learn from her family as well from her teachers about the environment. She learned the essence of life is to enjoy the things she does, to be happy with what she has, to dream big, and always do her best to achieve everything she is set out to do. Colombia. She is a medical assistant at Menards Dermatology. Growing up on the farm, she developed a deep love and appreciation for animals. She bottle-raised many of the animals and spent her days outside roaming the fields with her pets in tow. Farm life taught her to appreciate the simple pleasures of life and to care for all living things. Participating in pageants from a young age taught her to be comfortable with herself and to be relentless in the pursuit of her goals. Cuba. Studying Bachelor of Arts, Media, and Political Communication. Life is sometimes like playing a video game. We have these levels to pass, challenges or levels. As the game progresses, so does the level of hardship we face through the hard times. And we continue to level up until we reach the top and win the prize, which is to the best version of ourselves that God has set us to be. Indonesia! An office worker. While she was in middle school, the coach at her club was very strict and scolded her many times and said harsh things to her. The frustration she felt made her mentally strong. It was very hard at the time, but she's stronger today because of this experience. Japan! A communication major student. Growing up, the biggest lesson she learned from her childhood was being conscious about implicit biases. Having these personal experiences made her realize to judge less, to not be harsh of the unfamiliar, and to be a bit more understanding. Because our judgments and perception of this world is what makes us all unique. Korea. Albanian, Luxembourgish, German, French, English, and Spanish. Growing up, she learned not to compare herself to others, to always be kind and accept herself. Knowing her worth helped her to become more confident. Kosovo.
She is an international model and student. One of the things that has become a big motivator for her is the knowledge that time never waits for anyone. It will keep moving, and if you stumble behind, you have to get yourself back up. It will not wait for you. Mongolia. She is an architect in training at Carrie McNamara Architects. As hard as her upbringing was, she was able to understand the importance of education and did her best in school at all times, which allowed her to get a scholarship to go study architecture in Turkey and take her family and her society out of poverty. She learned that hard work, persistence, and perseverance is one of the most important characteristics that you could ever have. Namibia! She is an interior designer, all-around stylist, and model. When she thinks about her childhood, she gets a warm feeling and a smile on her face. As a kid, she was a real and still am an animal lover. The biggest lesson she learned during her childhood was to speak up for those who can't do it for themselves. Netherlands! She is an entertainer, professional model, line producer for several brand companies, dance coach, and owner of Extraberry Entertainment and Modeling Ltd. Growing up, she learned a lot of valuable lessons that help her thrive in adulthood. Multitasking is a skill she learned the hard way, which further contributes to her patience and tolerance amongst other virtues. She has the patience of Mother Earth, who still cares for humanity amidst everything thrown at her ever-loving heart. Nigeria! She is a journalism and communication student. Growing up, her parents taught her how to holistically become an all-around good person, citizen, and daughter. She was taught responsibility, the value of hard work, and how to show respect towards all beings and to the environment. Philippines!
A professional model, she has always been very sporty and focuses on arts and book-oriented person. In addition to sports, arts have had a great impact in her life. From sculpting to oil painting and sketching and other art forms like ballet and jazz, together they have given her the opportunity to multitask between many different disciplines and forms of expression. Puerto Rico!
She is a pilot student. From her childhood, she learned to give and take with both hands. It's important to be honest and hardworking within your community. Practice Ubuntu, a concept that means I am because you are. South Africa!
She's a student and co-founder of Bringing Me Sunshine Incorporated. She grew up in a loving family, environmentally with a sibling where both her parents worked long hours. Since her grandparents stepped in to care for them, she spent much time at their house. It was there that she developed a love for the environment. She enjoyed helping her grandfather in the yard, while he taught her how to plant flowers and vegetables. USA!
She is a student, model, and sales intern. She has 2 lessons that she will bear with her for the rest of her life. The one she received from her mother was to be empathetic, to connect with the feelings of others, and to try to improve the day of everyone around you. The second one was given to her by her father, which was to emphasize that we are capable of achieving everything we can imagine if we study, prepare ourselves, and work hard enough. Venezuela.
Laboratory intern. She learned that what other people think of you is not your business. If you start to make that business your business, you will be offended for the rest of your life. Zambia.
She is a public relations and marketing manager, and after losing her parents, she learned that life is uncertain and we should always be able to adjust to any given situation. Losing both parents at a young age has shaped her to overcome most of the biggest challenges that came her way. Zim